Hey everyone, my name is Savraj and I'm here to give you a brief introduction to the Sikh religion and tell you a little bit about Sikh prayer. Okay, so the 2-second introduction to the Sikh religion. Well, it's a faith that is relatively young. It's just over 500 years old, and it began in what is today in North India. The basic beliefs of the Sikh faith are that there is one God, and the purpose of our life is to establish a connection with this God through meditation, earning an honest living, and sharing that living with others. So I'd say that is a very basic idea of the Sikh faith. The concept of God in Sikhism is a very, very deep concept. God is not separate from us. God is not contained within an object or in a particular place. God is actually, for Sikhs, everywhere. God is more like a force that is within everything and within everyone. And our purpose as Sikhs is to try to establish a connection with that force, with that energy. So that's a very basic idea of the concept of God. The first verses of the Sikh scriptures, which are the first Sikh prayers that every Sikh recites every morning, are Ek Onkar Satnam Kartapurik Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Saiban Gur Prasad. So that is the Mool Mantra, or the root verse of our scriptures. And it roughly translates to, there is one God, the name is truth, without fear, without hatred, timeless, without form, self-illuminated, and beyond birth and death. And through grace can you make a connection with God. So those are the basic beliefs of the Sikh faith. And let's talk about Sikh prayer. So Sikhs are supposed to pray 3 times a day, once early in the morning, once in the evening, and once at nighttime. Early in the morning is around about 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. And in the morning prayers, you're supposed to recite a few prayers. A significant one is Japji Sahib, or an important one is Japji Sahib. Now that was a prayer written by the founder of the Sikh faith, a man named Guru Nanak, who was born in 1469 AD. And that was the first prayer that he uttered, Japji Sahib, when he had an experience with God. And yeah, so that's the first prayer. So in the first prayer, in Japji Sahib, there's an interesting passage, and it's roughly translated as, when your clothes get dirty, you wash them with water to clean them. And again, this is a really rough translation, you can look it up. And when your mind is dirty, through prayer, you sort of clean and wash your mind. And so that sort of summarizes, in a very coarse way, the meaning of prayer in Sikhism. It's a routine that we undertake to essentially clean out our minds and purify, if you will, our minds and our souls. And our goal is to establish a connection with the divine, which is at the very bottom of our soul. And that is through meditation, through quieting our minds and focusing through prayer on the energy that is within and around us, that is God. Let's see. There are a lot of other interesting things too. So yes. Let's see. So as a Sikh that has grown up here in America, oftentimes I do the evening prayer. Sometimes I do I always do the nighttime prayer. So I may not be the best Sikh practitioner, But I can regularly do the nighttime prayer because that's just before you go to sleep. The evening prayer, Rehra side, I don't get to that often. It's about 25 minutes. The nighttime prayer is about, you can do it in like 5 to 10 minutes. The evening prayer is about 25 minutes, all said and done. And the morning prayer is about an hour. I can't say that I've gotten up every morning to do the morning prayer. It's pretty early. But it does, when you do pull it off, you do get a great start to the day. I will say that. Okay, so those are the concepts of prayer. Those are the sort of set prayers that Sikhs do, so morning, evening, and night. And another thing Sikhs are supposed to do, and it's the first of the 3 golden rules of Sikhism. It's a nam jap, which is sort of always remember God, or always keep God on your mind or within your heart. And again, God isn't a person or an object or is found in a certain place. God is everywhere. So always keep that connection with everything around you in your mind. And one way you can do that is through meditating on God's name, through repetition, if you will, of the many different names that Sikhs have for God. And so that is called Simran, is repeating God's name. And many Sikhs, sometimes Sikhs can sit down, or we have ceremonies at the place of worship where it's like, okay, we're going to do Simran, as in remember God's name, repeat a name for God for a solid hour. And for Sikhs, God, a great name for God that is very common for us is Waheguru. So Guru is like a teacher, and Waheguru is like the ultimate greatest teacher. So Waheguruji, and Waheguru is a term that you'll hear when you enter a Sikh place of worship pretty frequently. Let's see. Another big aspect of the Sikh faith that, if this is a short intro you've never heard about before, you should definitely know about, is the idea of selfless service and the equality of all people. So selfless service. Sikhs are supposed to help anyone in need. And if you go to a Sikh place of worship, this is a routine that's established. There is always free food and even shelter in many places for anyone that would like it. So every typical Sikh service always is accompanied by a great meal, and everyone is supposed to share in that, and it's prepared by volunteers, and that's sort of an example of the selfless service Sikhs should have. Obviously, it should extend beyond the place of worship. Obviously, we should be serving the community at large very selflessly. Another concept is equality. So Sikh men and women are completely equal, so Sikh men and women can hold all the same roles in the place of worship and so on. And beyond that, Sikhs have that mentality of like, you can be all you can be. It's all up to you. You're not typecast into a particular job or a role because of your family or your history or your upbringing or your social class or caste or whatever. Everyone is equal. Everyone gets the same opportunities in the place of worship to practice and to progress. And that extends beyond the Sikh faith into the world. So you can get any job you want. It's all up to you. Like, it's all within you, and you don't need to wait until your next life or something weird like that to progress. So, yeah, so we believe in complete equality of men and women. And we take it pretty far. So first names in the Sikh faith are gender neutral. So my first name is Sabraj, and so there are girls named Sabraj as well. So the equality is a pretty big deal. Also, we're supposed to take surnames of Singh and Kaur. So Singh means lion and Kaur means princess. And these were sort of high caste surnames that were given to men and women. So the gender distinction is now on the surname. And there's no more sort of family hierarchy. Everyone is just Singh or Kaur. There's no like, this is the Smith family, this is the Sidhu family, whatever. So we're pretty big on equality, everyone being equal in all regards. There's also the idea of the 5 Ks, the 5 symbols that all Sikhs should have. Those are always pretty exciting. The symbols are Kes, Ganga, Kirpan, Kacha, and Kashera. So Kes is uncut hair. They all begin with K. Ganga is a comb to keep your uncut hair tidy. Kirpan is a sword that represents the defense of anyone weak and oppressed and in need. I like to say that Sikhs are the Jedi Knights of the world. So we're there to help anyone in need. Gashera is like boxer shorts. And Gara, this one right here, is a bracelet. That is the What Would Guru Nanak Do bracelet. Okay. So I've been talking for a bit. Any questions?